Say what you will about Fallout 76, and I'll be the first to say at this point that I'm not completely sold on the idea of a multiplayer Fallout game, but it's neither here nor there at this point because we've barely seen a glimpse of the game, and I trust Bethesda Game Studios to make a quality Fallout product regardless of it being multiplayer or not. One of the biggest and weirdest changes that we're going to see in this game is the fact that there's no human NPCs for you to really fight or trade with, or even get quests from. It's a big change from what we've come to know as Fallout, but it's kind of a blessing in disguise, because all that means is Bethesda Game Studios is really going to have to step it up in the department of creating insane monsters for us to fight. And thanks to the game's incredible setting of West Virginia, they have a lot of American folklore to choose from. So naturally, I thought it'd be fun to make a video about one of the monsters that I definitely think should be in Fallout 76. I'd love to turn this into a series, so if you guys like it, be sure to let me know. But anyways, how could I not start with the Mothman? So I guess the first question to answer is, how the hell do I even know that Mothman is in this game? And the truth is, I don't. Honestly, Bethesda Game Studios hasn't confirmed whether or not he's in the game, but there has been some pretty damning evidence. Is it really damning? It's not really damning. There's been some good evidence that he is in the game after all. So the first piece of evidence to start with is this forum post from Death's Howl, which was on the Bethesda Game Studios over a month ago. And he thinks that one of the main locations in Fallout 76 is Point Pleasant, West Virginia, where he grew up. One of the big reasons he came up with was the rumor that during World War II, the US government was supposedly storing nuclear weapons in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. He didn't even know that it was going to be a major mechanic in Fallout 76 because at the time we hadn't gotten that full gameplay trailer at E3 yet. Why is it so important that Point Pleasant is in Fallout 76, you might be asking at this point? Well, besides the rumored nuclear weapon or two, Point Pleasant, West Virginia also happens to be the home of the infamous Mothman. Mothman was spotted more than a few times over the year between November 12th, 1966 and December 15th, 1967. He was first seen by gravediggers, of course, who described him as a flying man-shaped creature, and just 3 days later, two young couples called the local police to report sightings of a large gray creature whose eyes glowed red when their car headlights flashed in its direction. The very next day, an article popped up in the Point Pleasant Register about the Mothman. It was picked up nationally, and the legend of the Mothman was born. Obviously, Point Pleasant has a lot of pride for their local cryptid. He's shown up in a Castlevania game, he's had a novel written about him called the Mothman Prophecies that was adapted into a movie, and he's even had his own Unsolved Mysteries segment all about him, which is everyone's dream, am I right? One of the most prominent and widespread legends about the Mothman actually ties him to an infamous disaster in American history, the Silver Bridge tragedy. To keep things short, the Silver Bridge was built in 1928 to connect Point Pleasant and Gallipolis, Ohio. In the evening of December 15th, 1967, during rush hour, the bridge crumbled and fell apart, sending the cars driving across it into the river and killing 46 people. Of course, the rational explanation was that the bridge was poorly designed and it was never meant to carry that amount of weight that strained it daily, and in fact, the failure was blamed on one single link in a suspension chain breaking. But curiously, as you might have found in your own research, Mothman sightings came to an end, at least for a little while after the bridge fell. That's actually the premise of the Mothman Prophecies by John Keel. He believed the tragedy was somehow connected to supernatural forces brought on by Mothman. Since 2002, Point Pleasant has celebrated Mothman annually. They even put up a 12-foot statue of him in 2003. The festival happens on the third weekend of September, and it's all thanks to the town's Mothman Museum and Research Center. So while that's all well and good, we haven't exactly proved that he's even in Fallout 76. So now I'm going to point you to Danny O'Dwyer's no-clip documentary on the making of Bethesda Game Studios. One of the people he interviewed is sitting in front of a blurred out computer screen because Fallout 76 hadn't been revealed yet, but the real mothball here is the guy's shirt. It's a Mothman baseball tee, which you can and should get directly from the Mothman Museum's website in the bio. So even though it's a little bit on the fuzzy moth's antenna, I really do think that this guy is going to end up in Fallout 76. And that's all I have for you today on the first episode of Camp Cryptid. I'd really love to turn this into a series, so if you want to make that happen, the biggest thing you can do is hit the thumbs up button, subscribe if you're not already, and leave me a comment, and maybe share it with one of your friends. I love talking about cryptids, and if the viewership is there, I will definitely continue making these videos. But that's all the time I have for today, guys, so as always, my name is Jimmy Champagne, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.